brothers and sisters, if you just joined me, there's no music in the background this time. If you just wait a while, you'll be able to see what's going on here. So it's not a camera glitch, or like some would say, I've had a lot of attacks against what we are seeing, like downplaying it, everything. But you should be able to see what's going on here. So it's not flashing all the time, right? So it's not something wrong with the camera. As you see this part of the world in this web camera here, Capox Mueles, Quebec Canada. I don't know if I say it rightly, but you can read it yourself here. There is no timestamp, unfortunately, but this is live, so it's right now. Maybe a second or two delay. And it's very heavily clouded or chemtrailed, and you can see that there is a pink color in the sky, and unfortunately our sun, as you know, isn't the color pink. That makes rather sense. And you get a lot of flashing going on here. Unfortunately now it's not flashing, typical, but it comes and goes. So that also tells you that it's not just a camera dilemma or problem. I've been showing this camera throughout the years, and there's always something happening like this here. I don't know when, but anytime it'll start flashing. And our sun shouldn't be flashing this way, especially not this color. And there we go. Here you start seeing the flashing going on now, just as some people who were watching disappeared, and all of a sudden comes the flashing. So like I said, it's not a camera disorder or a problem with the camera, because as you saw before when we had two people watching here online, they obviously thought it was boring because nothing going on. They should have waited a little while and seen this. Now you try and tell me please that this is a camera trick, a camera fault, and that the color is the camera's fault again, and that the flashing is the camera's fault, and that everything is the camera's fault. You can see yourself that we've been viewing this camera for several years now, and you can obviously see that there is something very unnormal here, saying the least. There's obviously something going on in the clouds, behind the clouds here. The sun simulator, the false sun, made by high-tech technology from the fallen ones sometimes gives this kind of effect as it malfunctions, and it definitely has a pink coloration to it, as we have seen the sun simulator with the object in the dead center, like a spot in the center, and often it is not always white, it appears to be pink and it appears to be flashing. So whether this is a planet or just the sun simulator malfunctioning a little bit, giving off this pink purple coloration, would be my best guess. But that doesn't mean that if the sun simulator is needed above us, our Earth, that there isn't a serious problem why we have a sun simulator in the first place. Because our God created sun should give us sufficient light and warmth. Why do we need a sun simulator? As you can see, it's heavily clouded. Whether this is natural or whether they've put this horrible stuff up there by chemtrailing or whatever, you decide on that one. I cannot guarantee that either. I see as you see, but I do see a flashing going on, and if we look at the ground down here where the snow is, you can see it's turning pink for every flash. So some might say, well, why would the people down here not see this? One reason could be also because the camera is very sensitive. It picks up light much easier, different shades of light and colors, whereas the eye might fail to see these changes. Because whatever we perceive is just light, coming and going. Sometimes we think the clouds are just coming before the sun, so it lights up a little bit, then cloud comes and it darkens up again. People are thinking maybe it's the clouds moving in the wind. Why they don't react to this color down there, I don't know, because I'm not in Canada. If you are anywhere near here, maybe you should look up and see if you see the same thing. If you ever come here, wherever this place is, in Quebec, Canada, maybe you can take some live video while you're there, and you can be a judge yourself, or you can be, a guarantee person, a spokesperson, to say, yes, this is not some kind of a camera trick. There is a flashing going on, as you can see now. And that is not normal at all. Now, expert cameramen would come here and argue the matter, that it's just a this, or a lens flare, or that, or as a camera glitch, or there's something like that. But obviously, if there was a camera glitch, was there something wrong with the camera, you would maybe get pink across the whole camera. You wouldn't get it directly in the sky flashing like that, and leaving its nice light pink purpley reflection on the sea out there behind this ferry. And you see the car is moving here, so you see it's a live camera. It's not like just a picture, obviously, it's live. Right? So you see everything is moving, there's very little delay, a slight few milliseconds maybe, not even really a second, maximum a second delay, maximum. And you see now when it's not flashing, there's nothing wrong with the camera at all. It's just that it's very dark, but as you can see, I can zoom in here. Camera is working fine. You see a machine, you know, cleaning the snow, plowing the snow. You see the dock here, the ferry in the background. You see cars, not very many, but moving. And right now you see the snow is just white, gray, and there's nothing flashing at the very moment. You see how live this is. I mean, you know, there's not much delay. You can see the vehicle moving here, plowing the snow. You can see the snow coming out from the top there, and he's putting it where he wants it, onto the right side, I believe. So this is about as real time as it comes, even though we're thousands of miles apart. Sweden is very much like Canada. It's cold. So we're also up in the north. Obviously Canada is a little bit higher. Here comes the flashing again, but pretty much the same kind of cold climate and beautiful forest nation, obviously. But see, here you get the flashing again. And now let's go back to the snow down here. You can see it's lighting up. You see the flashing on the snow, it's lighting up. So it's definitely, that wasn't there before. So that goes to tell us all that it's coming from up here in the skies. So there's nothing wrong with the camera. There is something disturbing up there. And you can again see the shadows on the water there behind the ferry on the sea. Which is obviously coming from the light source in the heavens there, reflecting onto the sea, the harbor here. And obviously it's not doing it over here because the light source is not on this side, on the left side, it's on the right side. Again, when it's not flashing, I'll remind you that it's not also flashing onto the snow. It's just dark, but it's reflecting some kind of light because it's white, obviously looking very gray white. But as soon as this, whatever this is, whether it's the simulator or some kind of orbiting object or planet, now it's flashing again. You see? And when it's flashing, obviously you can see on the snow it gets pink. And it flashes on the snow as well. And that's not a camera illusion or a camera fault. Because as we have patiently scrutinized this video, Well, it's not a video actually, it's a live scene in Quebec, Canada. The address I just put up here, it's down here. You can read it for yourself because I got problem too. Well, how do you say it? Cape Aux Molis, Quebec, Canada. Right. Like I said, the machine, you can see it's moving as it should. There's not much delay. He's shooting this snow out and fixing the snow, obviously, somehow. There's cars moving and everything. So it's what I mean is there's not much delay, you know. There's like very, very little delay. It's almost very much live. There's a very, very slight delay, obviously. But that delay, as you can see now, when the skies are not flashing, the delay, I mean, is not what is causing the flashing. Because as you can see, this machine is plowing snow, and you can see where he's spraying out the snow there at the top there. You can see it, yeah, like a smoke or whatever it is. And if we just wait a while, there we go. And now when it's flashing this object, you can see that. Again, I think that's the simulator malfunctioning, but it could be a... Yes, it absolutely could be an orbiting planet, but I would more likely say that it's the simulator. And what is the simulator? It's a sun simulator. And if you like to look at our sister's channel, which is the Final Days channel, she gets a lot of attacks, the poor sister. She had to make several different channels just to be able to bring out the truth. Bless her, Father. She will tell you exactly what the sun simulator is, that it has a spot in the middle, dead smack center in the middle of the simulator, and it's not a orbiting planet which is in front of the sun. That idea you can all forget immediately. So when you see the sun and it has a prick in the middle, like a circle in the middle, a dark one, that is not our sun. I repeat, that is not our sun, millions of miles away, with a planet dead smack in the center of the sun, orbiting in front of the sun. That is not true. So if anybody tells you, oh yeah, that's the sun, so many million miles away, and it's got an orbiting planet in front of it, dead smack in the center, may I ask you, how would that be possible? How can the true sun have an orbiting planet that stays there for several years, dead smack in the middle? I mean, it would be maybe a little bit to the left, or a little bit down, or a little bit up in that case, but not dead smack in the middle. So that tells me that our sister from the Final Days channel has nailed it, that it is actually the sun simulator. And why they have a sun simulator out there, well, you can guess as good as we all do. That's because it's alien technology from the fallen angels, the fallen ones, right? And obviously there is a problem in these final days, and they need the sun simulator in order to conceal what's happening out there. As simple as that. Now, none of us know exactly what's going out there, out there, because we haven't been up there with a spaceship or a rocket or a huge ladder to have a look what's going on up there. But we can see that there is something that is very, very strange. And all these scoffers, that come here and say, oh no, that's a lens flare, and telling our members, I had to delete a couple of messages this week alone, where one gentleman, well, I call him gentleman out of respect, he was trying to come up and talk to our members here, a lady from Brazil, and he was telling her that no, this is all just using the S word, this is all a bunch of S words, and things like that, and being very rude, saying that we're all, people like me are crazy for showing you these things, that I'm a liar, a deceiver, and that there's nothing to see, go home, watch the TV, play on the casinos, and play on the lottos, or watch women on TV, or whatever, you know what I mean. Buy a new car, don't look at the skies, when actually they are scoffers. They may be working for the other side, if you know what I mean. And they don't want us to be awake. If they want to be asleep, that's up to them. I pray for them. We should pray for our enemies. We shouldn't wish them bad. You know, I made this channel, and there are many channels like it, to help us to awaken. And I never dictate, as you notice, I never ever dictate what we are seeing. You know, I'm not going to tell you that, oh yes, this is 100% this, or that's 100% that. I always say, you see, you decide. I find something that is a bit unnormal, strange, like a flashing sky like this. Then you look into it by watching other videos and reading about it, or praying to the Father Almighty, and make your own ideas what this could be. My guess that it is the sun simulator, which is slightly malfunctioning. Whether it's the red Kachina and things like that, everything is possible, but I kind of doubt that. But it could be the objects out there having a kind of an effect, or a discharge, or something like that, you know, some kind of a magnetic pull, or the colorations that are irritating even the sun simulator. And as you've noticed also, you know, we come across some planets and things like that. Let's back out a little bit. You see, let's go through these a little bit. Very often you'll see actual objects. I mean, here we go. Here's a perfect example. What did I tell you? That the sun simulator, this is a sun simulator, folks. This is not our sun. I repeat, this is not our sun. I mean, I could be somehow wrong, and other people too, but even the Final Days channel, our sister, will tell you that this is not our sun. You can forget that this is our sun, miles away, millions of miles away, and it has a planet like the red Kachina or Nibiru, dead smack in the center. After all these years, we've been finding this object. It is the sun simulator. It's too dark to be our sun in the first place, you can see. And that object in the center, it's part of the system, part of the device, part of the laser, you know, part of the control port, or what you might say. I don't know. I don't make sun simulators, so I wouldn't know. But you can imagine that that's like an umbrella, and the centerpiece is its main point. It's his beam of light, or subjugated. You see here, if you go in there, now that, I'm not saying that as a planet. I might zoom into this and show you this. Now you decide yourself whether that could be a planet or something. That could very well be whatever. But I mean, no, I see this immediately now when I back up from the camera. And you see how the camera is moving towards the right. So I will admit myself now that this is obviously no planet. This is a reflection from the camera, because it's following the frame towards the right, you see. So it's not a runaway planet that's following us. No, it's not. So here, for example, let me just get rid of this. Here is a prime example, this little round object there. That's obviously, I agree, that's obviously just a lens flare or a camera reflection. So that's nothing. But there are times when the object doesn't move with the camera. It stays there somewhere behind this sun simulator. And that's, I believe, something completely different then. What's causing these? This could be a lamp or something, you know, I don't know. It could be. I thought about it a couple of times. I'm not saying that's what it is, so don't keep me to it. But It could possibly be some kind of a radiation as well. You know, we have been told that we've got sun flares, so this could be a sun flare radiation coming down, or it could just be the lights. There's a lot of lights there. Maybe, yeah. Maybe this time we can give the credit of the doubt and say there's something wrong with the lights. Here, you see this red, strange looking lens flare. Oh, that made me scared. That was the noise of my telephone. Never know what you're gonna see, so I'm not prepared for this. I'm just looking as we go. That's a beautiful picture. You never know what's in the skies these days because it's so heavily clouded. And some of us are used to this by now, this trail they put. I mean, how do we know? I'm just saying, how do we know? Why is it this light here? That's the simulator, folks. That's the simulator light. I was going to say, how do we know that this thing here is not just part of a bottom part of a very big planet that happens to be just above and near us? Because it's very dark up there, right? And they are obviously chemtrailing something, trying to conceal something. You see how this chemtrail starts to spread? Once they spread, it starts to spread out. It won't take long till they've made the whole sky kind of white, reflectable on this lower part that you see that is lighted up by the simulator. And when you back out, you can see the form, which could be, I'm not saying it is, but which could be a part of a 25% bottom of a huge planet. Not half, but the bottom half. 25% of the bottom half. Right in our face. Chemtrailed, or they're trying to chemtrail now. The light source that you see there, which is too bright, too white, too false looking. I repeat, false looking. Which I believe, sun simulator. Right. When you go in here, are you telling me that this white light here makes this yellow light down here? So it's white up here and it's yellow down here. That makes total sense. Maybe it's a lens flare, folks. Maybe it's nothing to worry about. It's just a lens flare. So white light here makes yellow down here. Okay. Anybody understand that logic? Then let's just move on. I thought I just saw this round object moving there for a second ago. Let's have a quick look again. Now have a look here. You see it's all white here. It's got some slight bluish color here. And all of a sudden all this is dark. And they're chemtrailing exactly there. Here again you can see the sun simulator. This is not our sun. Don't let anybody tell you or you think that this is our sun. The sun does not look like this. If the sun is this close, it would be burning up, right? This is the sun simulator. How do I know? Well, the Final Days channel will tell you, our sister there. You see the dot in the middle there? That's the sun simulator. And that's because the simulator is over that side there. Now whether our true sun is somewhere between here somewhere, that could possibly be. I mean, look at this. Honestly. Does this in any way look normal? I mean, looks like a nuclear bomb gone off or something. And again, I cannot say that this is our sun. It might give warmth, you know. But honestly, if this... Sorry, I just had to close the phone. If this was our sun and it's acting up like this and it's looking like this, do you not think that we would burn up on Earth? We would literally burn, wouldn't we? If the sun was this violent, looking like this. So this, I believe, whatever it is, whether it's the sun simulator gone crazy, whether it's Nibiru closing up, you see, there you go. That could possibly very much be Nibiru. You know, this Planet X everybody's talking about. Why? Because it happens to have these wings on both sides, right? And isn't the red dragon Nibiru supposed to have those kinds of wings on both sides? And it has obviously that kind of trait. Again, if you think this is our sun, and then if we look here as well, I mean, I don't know. What the goodness is that? I mean, how do we know that this is not our sun? You know, how do we know that this little thing here is not our sun? There. And that this foreign object, looking like something with a coloration like this, is not something completely different. Again, to choose from. You can either choose from our sun, and then you can explain what this little dot over here is first of all. You can say this is the sun simulator gone crazy. Again, you can explain what this dot is there again. Or it's Nibiru, in which case it's very close and it's upon us very soon, and this little thing is probably our sun. That's my best guess. Now, I always say, you see, you decide. You see, you decide. And if this is our sun, if you say, no, 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 this is our sun, okay? So, if this great big thing looking like this and spreading its wings hasn't burnt us up yet is our sun, then please tell us all, what is this? What is this? And let's just have a look while this thing, I daren't call it our sun, but while this thing is going down in the horizon there, what happens to all the shadows and to all the colors? And over here, let's have a look here, because this could very well be also two objects, not only one we're looking at here. And why do I say that? Because you could have our real sun there, you could have Nibiru very close here giving that red effect, and you could have the sun simulator all in the same destination, thus why it's looking like this. So what do I mean? I mean Nibiru could be here where I've got my cursor, this red live thing could be Nibiru. Above there you get some yellow. You see above, you see underneath here, you see here it's very blood red. So let's say this is Nibiru. Then you got the yellow part, which is the sun. And then you got this false simulator sunlight, the simulator. They've guided it over to here to cover what's going on behind there. Now that would be a very best assumption that I have. I'm not telling you that is what it is, it's just my opinion. That there is more here than meets the eye. There seems to be something going on here, but let's just, you see here is something going on as well. There's a line there of some kind. But if we go back here, this can be very much 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3 objects. And you can see how heavily they chemtrailed and put the clouds in front of this sun, because here you can see all the dark reflection which is from the clouds, and this sun looking like object going down in the horizon there. But when we zoom in, you see the wings from this, colorations from this This side looks a bit strange. You see that? And there's like a light. And up here I saw something as well a little bit. But look, if the object here that was reddish is already disappearing downwards, why this great big white light still there? As you can see here, if that's supposed to be our sun, again, it's completely too dark in the heavens. If anybody thinks that this is our sun from millions of miles away, and it's not lightening up the sky at the same time, but only down here, and it's that huge, I must tell you, please think again. Right? And this camera here, I don't know, you decide. But whenever it comes close to the so-called sun or light source, whether it's a lens flare or not, I seem to find some kind of an object right here coming into view now. There it is. Now look how the false sun gets large and tries to conceal the object behind. Now if that was a lens flare, why would the light source in front of it illuminate part of it? And why is it completely still while this is moving over there? This is not a lens flare, folks. Some parts of this is a lens flare, but the object behind the pole, which has now disappeared because the light is not shining on it, I honestly don't believe that that's no lens flare. Here's a bird, a blackbird even, sitting there having a good old look. A raven. And this I've noticed many times, and I've shown it on this platform several times. And you see how this simulator light explodes into action and tries to cover up the whole area. And guess why? Now a lens flare or something like that might end up here somewhere, you know, making a dot or a spot or something. Why would it be behind the simulator? And why would it be standing still? If it was a lens flare, should it not move together with the object, or with the camera moving, I mean? We'll just allow this camera to go to the left and come back to the right, so we can have another look. And here you can see the date and the timestamp, and the seconds, and the hour, and the minutes. And we're just waiting for the camera to start shifting back towards the right. We can go here for a while we're waiting. Again, you see how dark it is, but supposedly there's a huge light source there with some kind of chemtrailing going on. Now the camera is starting to move again, so we'll go in. And now just concentrate on the movement of the camera, right? So if we have got a camera now, it's obviously moving this way very slowly. It's going this way. So when we see this object or reflection, whatever somebody might say. You know, people are gonna scoff and say it's just a lens flare or it's just a trick of the camera, but you be the judge of that. Remembering that the camera is moving this way, not the object. The object is not moving. Neither is the simulator, obviously the sun simulator, moving this fast that way. It's just the camera moving that way. As you can understand, you can see how the camera is ticking like a clock, like tick, 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 like this towards the right. And soon we'll get to the light source. And always somewhere behind the light source there is an object of interest, and you decide what it might be or what it could be, if anything at all. I'm going to turn only up the light source, on my phone. You see this thing here? I'm going to turn it to the top so we get much more light. So this is not a filter, it's just turning the light source up. So here's the Raven again. He's sitting here, still looking, enjoying the light source. Now let's have a see if we can see this object again behind what I believe is the simulator. If you look right at top of here, you see a light beam coming to the simulator, and you see how it changes size at times as well. And then if we look in there now, you see this red object behind there, and you see another one there on the corner there. There, it's coming into view now. And the simulator, or this light source, is illuminating the bottom of this. And it looks like it's got some craters on it. Right there you go. Now if that was a lens flare, why is this beam of light illuminating it? And why is it still there? You see it? It starts to dissipate as the light goes, doesn't shine on it anymore, but you can still see it. There. There's still something there. You can see it. If I back out now, you can still see the object there. This will go, the camera will go towards the right. You can still kind of make it out as well now. I can still see it. If you fix your gaze on it, you can still see it. But it's turning back now. Let's have a good old look now. As the light source comes back, or I mean as the camera goes back towards the light source, shall I put it more correctly? It's the camera that's moving, it's not obviously the light source there. Watch now. There, it starts to come back into view now. There, you see? And you see how the light source is trying to cover it up? Have a look there. 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 You see how it's... That's not a lens flare, folks. The beam here that you're getting here that's moving with the light source, that's a lens flare. This reddish looking thing, but not the one that's behind there that's stationary. So the halo here, that's like a lens flare, but the object there in question, you see, you can still see it going behind the pole even. It's right about here now. Well, now it's going to go back to its furthest point, so we're not going to wait for it now. And you see how this is the simulator light and it's not our sun. That's why it's not doing such a good job on the ground. It's still dark. It's got no capacity against our true sun. The skies are dark. So whatever's going out on in our skies, they obviously thought they need this simulator light, which has got the spot in the middle. Please see the Final Days channel. Our sister there will explain to you more about this. And that means that this is also the simulator. That's not our sun. Here you get a lens flare here. You see the red object going down the bottom there, left. And you might ask yourself, how many lens flares, does one light source have? Here obviously it needs 3. You see how the pink light source is also reflecting onto the house here. The whole side of the building here is turned like pinkish. And there too. And over here too. here I believe you can see how the simulator is reflecting its shapes and colors. It's almost like a snake skin, isn't it? Like the scales of a snake, a serpent. This is starting to look very strange here actually. And I like the way how they put this flag curtain here, that it sometimes makes it look like it's flying, moving towards the front of the camera. So we're not, I don't understand what the material is doing here. Probably to cover up something, making it look like, you see there. What are they trying to cover up, folks? Why would you put some material like that near a web camera? Doesn't make any sense, because the whole idea of a web camera is so that you can see. But unless you're trying to conceal something, obviously. Could that be why? You see how everything in the background has changed now? Right, I think I've gone through all the cameras for even a second time now. And this is what we started off with. And you can see that the flashing is coming from the light source and not the rest of the picture. So I can tell you there's nothing wrong with the camera, because otherwise the whole camera would be flashing. And obviously it's not flashing down here more than the reflection that we are seeing up here. And at times the problem up there, whatever is doing the flashing, is not flashing all the time. So we get minutes or hours throughout the day when it doesn't flash, but when it does flash, then this is what you get. And you can see quite clearly that the flashing is coming through the heavens there, through the clouds. And this has to be one of my favorite cameras. Build your house on a rock. Right, brothers and sisters, I hope you enjoyed this. Some of the web cameras. Send you my blessing, and everybody take care. Please do share and subscribe and hit the bell button for all videos. Thank you. God bless.